Welcome everybody to Who's Your Band. I am Jeffrey Paul. I am joined by Sean Morton. How are you, Sean?
Jeff, I've seen you a lot this last couple days.
We have.
I have. It wasn't good. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't a fun weekend. I had to spend Saturday and Sunday with you
In a car with me on Sunday,
in a
driving to
car
Philly.
on Sunday. Yes. By the way, anybody, if you ever go with Jeff to a gig, make sure you leave about 3.5 hours before your gig actually starts because he drives like a fucking 95-year-old grandmother in a Buick Regal going 42 miles an hour down 95.
Yeah.
And the prick here, this is why he's also a prick. Number one, he's got a Mercedes, okay, and Jeff is very calm. Jeff is very subtle. He's very doesn't want to bring attention to himself, but he has a Mercedes, and I'm like, oh, I get to ride in a Mercedes all the way down to Philadelphia for our gig. Shows up in a fucking Buick.
I like my Buick. It's a fun car to ride in.
It's a lot of
It's fun.
If you don't want your hair to get messed up from going too fast, yeah, it's a great car to go in, Jeff.
Listen, speaking of hair.
Yeah, I'm real fucking jealous already with this prick. Anyway,
listen, I want to introduce our guest because a couple of weeks ago I went to see Mike Tramp over in New Jersey, and
I guess my invitation got lost in the mail for that one. By the way,
you know what? Davin hit me up and Jameson hit me up at the last minute, and I wasn't even sure if I was going to go, and then I wound up going. But
sold out.
So I'm standing outside. And I just started talking to, I was talking to a couple people. I started talking to this guy, really nice guy. Turns out he's the lead singer of the opening band. And then I went to go, I looked him up. Fucking band, man, is really good. So I am happy to introduce to the show lead vocalist of Ten Ton Mojo, Dave Anthony. How are you, Dave? Thanks for joining us, man.
All right. How you guys doing in Jersey?
Oh, fantastic. Where are you from, buddy?
I'm actually the only member that's from Long Island. We incorrectly got quoted being from Long Island, at a gig in PA, but no, we are from New York City.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. There's so many, I don't want to say contradictions with the band, but you guys, when you hear your music, the last place you think you guys are from is New York City. Really, where did the band get its start?
Well, I gotta say, I was not a part of the original start.
I guess were not. The band starts in 2010, right?
Yeah, it goes back to 2010. They had a previous guy, this guy Ernie, I guess, that most of the recordings are with. As far as vocally, I can only, I guess, speak for my position. But they they were doing really well. They had actually Pinball Girl was on it was in some movie, actually. I can't remember.
It was in a movie.
Yeah.
And they also had another song, I think that was in a commercial.
I believe they did, but that I don't quote me on that one. I don't for the stuff before my time, I'm not quite as good at, unfortunately. But
how drastically did the sound change when you joined? And why did the first singer leave?
Well, I don't know completely actually the story as to why he left. I do know his scenario changed and he moved down to Florida, so I believe it would be a little difficult for him to to commute up here to New York as opposed to me coming from Long Island. But I don't know completely exactly the whole story there. But as far as I'm sorry, what was your second question? I'm really stoned.
You'll be perfect with Sean. How did you wind up joining the band, and how drastically did the sound change?
Oh, all right. I mean, the sound, I guess, changed not too much because I joined through a mutual friend who's the lead singer of Grimjack, this guy, Billy Cahood. He told Scott, I guess, about me, and they were like, yeah, let's give him a shot. Long Island's a little far, but see how it works. And, fit was perfect. But I'd say the sound started, I guess, changing, getting more of maybe a southern sound.
That's
when me and Christian joined, I guess. I guess that's some of the influences on the classic rock side that we dug a lot. A lot of Skinner, a lot of CCR.
Is that what you listened to growing up?
I did listen to a lot of that growing up. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Sean, I don't know if you heard them.
I've not heard one note, which
okay,
I'm annoyed at myself because I'm a big
That's a crime.
yeah,
I'm, I'm a big like just straight up rock fan. You know what I mean? I love everything, but like when it comes to like just gritty, dirty rock, that's one of my all time favorites.
well, that's what these guys are. You know, if you when you listen to them, I read and I saw that they were compared to bands like the Black Crowes, but when I listen to them, I see them more along the lines of a Blackberry Smoke and a Dirty Honey. That's that, but not exactly where, because they have their own sound. Their guitar play, there's a couple of songs that I want to get to that have these killer leads and opening riffs, and then Sean, you got to check out this guy's vocals. I'm not saying because you're in front of me, Dave, but I've gone and I've listened to it a bunch of times, and you're a really cool vocalist.
Are you guys on Apple Music?
Yeah, we're on actually just about everything. Apple Music, Deezer, the usuals, YouTube, Spotify,
Okay.
Bandcamp.
I will download it as soon as this podcast is over. I have a 3-hour drive tomorrow to a concert that I'm going to, and Ten Ton Mojo is gonna be the music I listen to.
Yeah, listen to a song.
At least through New Jersey.
Yeah, listen to a song called Carmelita.
Carmelita.
It is a really cool song. Who's playing lead on that one? Is it Scott or Christian?
That would be Christian.
And so in the video, he's the guy who kind of looks like your brother.
I guess, yeah, I guess so. He's the one.
Except he's wearing
cigarette.
he's wearing a cowboy hat.
Oh no, that's Scott. I thought Christian was playing the lead. He's tossing the cigarette at you.
Maybe yeah, there's a lot going on in that video.
Yeah.
You're trying to be cool guy sitting in the car, you wearing your shirt, being rock guy. But I mean, he's got these vocals, man. It's really good. That's a really good song.
No, that's I guess. I mean, definitely. I shouldn't even say I guess. That's definitely our biggest hit right now. I guess Bad Love coming in a little bit in second on that one, but we got a whole bunch of new tunes coming out, a brand new EP coming out on June 30th. It's going to be also available on every streaming network, so we're really excited about that one. Coming out Curtain Call Records, courtesy of Wendigo Productions as well. So we're really psyched about that one, having a big EP release for that at Gramercy Theater. Gramercy Ballroom.
Now is that
you guys find it easier to do an EP instead of having to wait like the 18 months, 2 years, like sometimes 2.5 years to put out a full length? You think it's better to put out a couple EPs at a time?
Yeah, I mean, personally, I like honestly just rolling out with singles, which we kind of started doing recently. Especially this day and age with you got to kind of be innovative and change the game with technology, and things got to come out quicker and faster. And a single is a great way to do that. You can pop some artwork. You have, video maybe for every other one. Get something out there for the fans to have, something for people to listen to, something new. I personally like it. I don't know. There's arguments, I guess, within it. There's the old school effect to have that nice album, and all the effect of that as well, which I dig too. I can't really say I don't, especially on the vinyl level.
Yep.
Yeah, the thing about videos now is back in the day, it cost a lot of money to put out a video, to have a production crew. Now you can basically put out a pretty good video basically with your cell phone.
Yeah, I mean, I had an ex-girlfriend in San Diego that used to talk about how it was like this guy was ridiculous teaching him how to use an iPhone to record, but now that's like what they're doing in Hollywood now too. It's like
there was a movie Marmalade that was made a few years ago that was completely shot on like an iPhone, I think 12 or something like that. It was an Oscar nominated movie too.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I can't really believe that some of this stuff, and even on my own phone, some of this stuff, I'm like, wow, that came out of my phone. I'm like, Jesus. But look at myself right now. I'm just like, wow, that's clear. I'm like, shit.
But along the lines of putting out content, you can get it out there pretty quick without, like Sean said, waiting 18 months to put out a record. And you guys have put out a lot of music in the last couple of years. It looked like you were putting out like almost two records a year.
Yeah, we've been putting, I guess, well, within since I joined the band, it's been pretty much singles. We had we had a whole bunch of stuff on the table. And during the pandemic, we had to kind of scrap a bunch of it because things, I guess, like everybody, I'm not going to go into the whole sob story. Everybody had some momentum going. But things changed a little bit as far as some of the tracks we could use and some of what we could get done in the studio. So, or just being available in the studio whatsoever. So, that a lot of those, that's how the single idea kind of came to be. And we kind of went with that and started using it and continuing it. And also, I guess now both argument within the band and both the label wants us to roll out with an EP. We're rolling out with an EP.
You mentioned before the song "Bad Love." That's another banger that you guys have. That
I
is,
love that.
yeah, that is a great riff to open up. Is that a song that you open with?
We don't open with that song actually. That would be a great opener. That would be a great opener. But
It's catchy. It's hard. It had Sean. This is a song that has like a Wolf Mother type of vibe to it.
yeah, that's
Okay.
actually
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, because I was listening to a bunch of your music.
I'm downloading it right now. Actually.
Yeah, there's that. There's because if I'm managing your group, okay, or if I'm an A&R guy, and I work, my history is, before comedy and everything, I did work in the record business for a few years. I toured with bands, but I could see you guys opening with Bad Love, maybe going into Carmelita, and then maybe changing it up a little bit with Stop Getting Off, which that has a kind of like a sexy groove to it.
I mean, I could see that working. I might have to pass that off to Scott and Christian. I am absolutely terrible at this. I'm totally, LSD, lead singer disease. I have no idea what the tuning would be for all that. I'm pretty sure Carmelita into Bad Love doesn't work.
No, the other way around. You open up with.
Yeah, if you don't understand what he's saying, see, as a fellow musician, we're going to talk to you people, you common folk, Jeff. He's saying that maybe Carmelita is written in drop D, and then maybe the other song is a full step down, and maybe the other one's a half step down. You know what I mean? These are musical, terminology, Jeff, that you common folk don't understand very well.
Yeah, well, you're in the community, Sean. Yes.
Hey, listen. Yeah. Listen, I was probably singing in a band when this fucking guy was in goddamn grammar school, for Christ's sake. How old are you? How old are you, Dave?
83.
So you're born in 83. All right, so you're not that far off. You're only 7 years younger than me. So you're 41. All right. If you're 39, 40. All right. You get a pass.
Yeah, he's
40 in March.
He's doing good.
Just so you know, Dave, it fucking goes spiraling downhill. The day you turn 40. Just so you know.
It was already terrible the day I turned 40.
I had your hair on my 40th birthday, and then this is what happened the day after. That's what happened.
The beginning of this year, my divorce started, but that actually was a great thing.
When I met you, you were supporting Mike Tramp.
Yeah.
Who else have you guys been out with?
Well, like in support of?
Yes.
I mean, as far as my tenure in the band, I guess I'll speak for, but we've been with Texas Hippie Coalition, which I think we're supposed to be back with them at Artie's. I'm not sure if that's official yet or not, so I don't know if I should be talking about that.
That's a good venue.
Did love Artie's. Great. We were actually just we opened already for them once at Artie's, and we were direct support for Spread Eagle just recently.
Oh, sure, yeah. We had Rob on the show.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, we're just all at Artie's, I guess, for that. And I guess the venue we were at with you at Debonair Hall, we opened for Kicks there as support.
They're doing their farewell tour now, Kicks.
Yeah. Well, we played with Ronnie with his other band, the Blues Vultures. We actually did a little mini little down south mid thing, PA, West Virginia, Maryland. That was pretty cool. We did that last year with them.
Dave, what do you see some of the obstacles in being a band and getting music broken out? Because back in the day, it used to be you had the record company and the A&R guys, and they would do the push. Now bands are able to just come out and release music on their own, and people have to sift through a lot of mediocrity to get to something that's really good, and then people start to lose interest. So what does a band at your level have to do to take that next step up where you're the headlining band?
Oh my God, everything. Sell your soul. Get a cat, post a lot of pictures of it. And I mean, marketing is everything. Unfortunately, sometimes what's, not necessarily what is always the full image of the band can sometimes work, and you just spin it to make it for your image. But it's tough. I'll say it is tough. It's ever changing. The game is faster than it's ever been. It's not something where it's like, oh, hey, we can roll out with this and this is coming. I mean, you got to be active all the time. Sorry, grabbing a fly in my room. But you have to be on top of the game all the time now, and especially in a genre like ours, rock and roll, that is not dead, but definitely not the popular scene. I mean, we got what, the Foo Fighters, like, that are holding
No, you
out
know
like
what?
Virginia's.
I'm glad.
I
I'm
don't
glad
agree
you
with
brought
that.
that up.
I
People
don't
talk
agree with
about.
that at all.
Yeah,
I think rock is more alive now than it's been in the last 25 years. I think the Foo Fighters were the band that was carrying it for a long time. And you
Right.
know what? I hate Jeff knows this with a fucking passion. I hate Greta Van Fleet more than anything on this earth. I hate
and I like them.
and he loves them. But you know what? I don't give a shit. I'll put my personal shit aside with them. They are bringing in 13, 14, 15-year-old kids who are now spinning AC/DC records, and they're looking into seeing Thin Lizzy and all these.
No, you're definitely
bands,
right.
you know,
And you got bands like Rival Sons, and yeah, no, you
Right.
definitely have, there's definitely a scene there, but I don't see it on the major level as
the
much,
major,
I guess.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Well, you know what?
mainstream.
From when we were growing up, Dave, me,
They're not
you,
Taylor
Sean,
Swift big, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
no, but the thing is, there's no outlets for rock and roll music to be played. But then again, there's not traditional radio that like really like pushes music in general. So you have to go to these specialized stations or Spotify or Apple Music. I think those are the things you have to like. Who do you think are some of the young bands that are carrying the torch? Because you mentioned Greta Van Fleet. I think it's going to be bands like Dorothy, The Interrupters. I think these are really good, like new bands that people like are listening to. And you know what? You got chicks leading the way as singers for these
Dames and broads, Jeff. Are they the front women too? These
They're not dames. I said chicks because that's what rock is like. Dave and I say. We're talking the lingo.
I mean, talking about an awesome all chick band, Jane Lee Hooker, man, they're pretty awesome.
They are really fucking good.
Yeah, we played with them a couple times. Dana's actually on our album. She's singing on a couple tunes,
Shit.
backup. Yeah,
That's
uh,
awesome.
along with it was just phenomenal. Yeah.
There's a lot. We interviewed Mariah Formica right before she joined started the band Plush, and now they're just putting out their second record, and they've toured with fucking Hailstorm and everybody on the planet. But I always look at them. I think Wolfie Van Halen's band is amazing. His new album's
Yeah.
coming out too. I think he's another one who's going to carry a torch for a while. I think Corey Taylor kind of stepping away from Slipknot a little bit, and even Stone Sour, which is like a more mellow version, but his solo stuff is just fucking great. That was my favorite albums of the last 5 years, was his solo record. So I think those kind of rock people are just these are the people that are really leading the way in rock and roll right now.
No, I definitely agree.
And Lizzie Hale too, obviously.
Yeah, she's great. But how do you guys what do you guys do to try and like stand out? Because Sean and I are both comedians, and listen, we're also in that same type of sea as well. It's not always like the funniest guy that gets on television. It's not always like the funniest guy that's headlining the clubs. So but you have to do something to be a draw. What do you do to be a draw in music?
Well, I mean, kind of like you were saying, a lot of it can be different nowadays. Like, you're just talking about Spotify and like getting found, and there's all this like sea of other stuff, and how do you get found? Uh, Algorithms are a huge part of that. Just like somebody gets pissed off when somebody puts a different song into your Spotify algorithm and it messes it all up. There is a genius in that to working that as a band. I'm not going to go entirely into that because that's, people can pay a lot of money for some of that information. But my point is you can spin it to your advantage. You want to be linked with bands that sound like ones you want fans that like those similar bands, I guess. And that was terrible English, but basically you want to be linked up with bands that sound like you and that are pre-established and that already have fans, so that they can be like, oh wow, this is a brand new band. These guys play some really awesome music too that sounds like, and I don't even know anything about them, you know. So that's the idea, at least on the technological level, at least for us. That's been working well. You know, your general get fans also. I mean, like, you know, nothing can be said more than just, you know, hanging out after a show and talking up some fans, you know, just chilling with some people. I mean, not for nothing, me and you hanging out in front of the venue, and now we're talking on an interview. I mean, you know, there's connections to be made everywhere, and that's essentially, you got to be available for them, I guess. You got to be working.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because like in this day and age where it's so very easy to just solely market yourself digitally, you know, and only doing it on social media, when you're hanging out with people, that's like the personal connection that people want, and it makes them more invested into actually wanting to listen to your music.
100%. I think that's more legit fans that way, without a doubt.
Sure.
Well, that's what the bands did back in the day, like on the Sunset Strip, you know, and the Twisted Sisters and Zebras in this area. Like the night that you guys did the Debonair, right? I mean, I guess you guys have to play almost like 5-6 nights a week, right? To build up, like, you know, a fan base. So are you getting a mailing list, you know, so like the night that I met you, did you pick up fans? I know you were very accessible. You guys were hanging out with people. You know, Mike was doing the same thing. You know, so was that like a good night for you? You know, or a typical night for you?
That was yeah. I mean, I'd say typical to good. You know what I mean? Like we do pretty well at our merch table usually. I'll say it was nice having like such a cramped area where everyone was kind of coming through. But then again, we also didn't get to see everybody because, you know, it was packed in there. But at the same time, it was a good night. It was a good night. We didn't kill it as great as we have before. It wasn't our best night, but it wasn't our worst night either. It was very good.
Cool. And you want to hear some irony?
I guarantee you that your show was a lot better than the show that me and Jeff did on Sunday.
Oh, shut up, stupid. No, you want to hear some irony?
7 people.
Okay, here it is. The night that they were playing with Mike Tramp, they were filling in for Tempt.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, that was another band that we had on the show.
We broke them, by the way.
Yeah,
we break a lot of people in the show.
Yeah, that was a great show. They were great kids.
Yeah, we interviewed them, and then literally like 6 weeks later, we get a post on Facebook. Hey, we're opening up for Iron Maiden Shinedown at Wembley Stadium. I'm like, oh, okay. So you know, you're welcome. That was all us.
That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah, weird shit. Weird shit. That was cool though.
Now you got me all nervous. Got to put on a better shirt.
Yeah.
By the way, if anybody likes this shirt, I'm considering mass producing these.
Belichick. That is pretty funny.
Right?
That is
agree with that.
You know, I read it real quick. I just thought it was a regular Chick-fil-A shirt.
Right?
Yeah.
It's great. Yes, it's snuck through.
You got me on that. Hey, you know what I had another question for you, man. You see, Sean, I'm using like cool vernacular. I said, man.
Yeah.
I'm from Staten Island. Does the band has a Staten Island connection, right?
There is a massive Staten Island connection with Mr. Paulie Kane. That's our drummer.
Okay, he's a Staten Island guy.
Yeah, no, he's from Staten Island. He lives in Staten Island. We kind of meet all in Staten Island very often when we go off on like tours and stuff. Although now I guess it's Yonkers because that's where we're based out of. We recently moved into a situation in Yonkers, which I don't know if we're going to be staying there or not, and not getting into anything more of that.
I like how he gets you to a level and says, and that's it. Yeah, I can't.
Yep.
I can't.
I give you enough information
anymore.
before I'm going to get in trouble. You got to understand.
Yeah,
I'm
like
the
owner of
I'm going to get in trouble.
The owner of the rehearsal studio in fucking Yonkers is going to listen to this shitty podcast.
Not so much. No, that's not a problem. I'm more worried about like literally my own band members, just like being like, "What the hell are you saying? We're not announcing that yet," or something like. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm just. Me and Christian had a little rule on the last tour, and I might even get in trouble for saying this. But the last time we were out, we're just like, yo, dude, I just don't want to get yelled at. Like, I just don't want to get yelled at. Like, just
you could tell us. Christian has a small dick, doesn't he?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm not answering questions about
Well,
anyone.
he is from Staten Island. Oh no.
But me and
No, he's
Scott
not from
hung
Staten
together
Island.
anyway.
Paul's from Staten Island.
Oh, I'm
Paul the
sorry.
drummer.
Pen kicked
Yeah,
it.
no. Christian's from Manhattan. He's uptown.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing about you guys, man. It's like you guys are New York. You're a New York City band. You play in New York City. You play the Electric Ballroom, right? But yet, and you hear their music, they could be on one song, they're Molly Hatchet. On another song, they are, like I said, Wolf Mother. They have that southern cool rock group. There are a rock and roll band, which you don't see. And the thing is, they do it well. And you guys are from New York. When you were in high school, okay, like who was like your go-to band? Like for me, it was Sabbath. I had a Sabbath jacket on. It was Iron Maiden. It was Zeppelin. That was like
Yep.
my go-to music.
Number 3, there you go. But I mean, all 3 of those, without a doubt, more 1 and 2, more 1 and 3, but without a doubt, Zeppelin is like they're my Fab Four. Everything I listen to, which is really before my time, I guess, but is like like late '60s to early '70s, like curtailing down from 1974, which is like probably the greatest year of music ever.
I would go 70. I would go 78. But I mean,
I'd give you.
Yes, Van Halen's album comes out, the Cars come out.
That's true. I do love the Cars.
Dave, you're singing on Bad Love on the
I
recording?
am singing on Bad Love. Bad Love, Carmelita,
Fucking
pretty
prick.
much everything like on Spotify that's at the top.
You heard
with
it,
the
Sean?
exception of
What a
Gotta Get That
fucking
Love.
prick. Good looking dude, perfect fucking beer, long flowing hair, and fucking voice like that. I can't stand
And
this.
all the tops. No.
It's a good voice.
That's why I muted my microphone so I can hear the
Yeah.
what's playing. It's really good. I'm playing that all day tomorrow.
And
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Check out a little bit of Carmelita.
Don't tell me what to do.
It's really, really fucking good, man. I mean, to me, if I'm the A&R guy at your record label, that's the single I'm pushing right now.
Yeah, no, that's like the driving song. That's a great song.
That's what I love. What? Give me your top 3 driving songs. You're gonna go going down 66 right past Chicago, going into the middle of the fucking Midwest.
But Route 66, Sean? Who you, Jack Kerouac, man?
I'm high as fuck. That's the only day it came to my mind.
Yeah, you, Johnny Depp, and a bunch of writers. Why don't you dress an old black, be a depressed poet, dude?
I am wearing black.
If I wasn't so sick of hearing my own music, I'd probably go with Carmelita as one of them. But Radar Love is definitely always going to be one of my favorite. Like that's just a great
except White Lion's version of it, right?
I could go for White Lion's version, sure.
Oh, you're going Golden Earring.
You're going to Golden Earring.
I was just staying classic with it. I could go with either, honestly. It's really just that drum beat. That drum beat is just so driving.
That is cool.
It just kind of keeps it going the whole time, and you're just kind of driving. And you're like, yeah.
You have
after
one more.
that, I do have like a whole like mix of stuff I actually have for driving. I love Midnight Rider. Big fan of Midnight Rider, particularly after a gig, like broken down, driving home for like a long ride home. That's like my favorite thing to put on right as I start off, especially when like the Sticks or something like that. If it's dark, it's just like love a little Midnight Rider.
That's a great one.
Yeah, right. It's a good tune.
Jeff, do you know the correlation between the Midnight Rider and professional wrestling?
I don't.
What about you, Jeffrey?
No, I'm sure this is going to go nowhere, but go ahead.
A great story, okay? Dusty Rhodes got into a feud with Ric Flair, and he got suspended, and he wasn't allowed to wrestle. And all of a sudden, this big fat white guy with a mask came out to Midnight Rider, and he was called the Midnight Rider. It was clearly Dusty Rhodes. He was 400 fucking pounds with a big ass welt on his stomach. He couldn't hide that shit, okay? Hey, let me just put a mask over it. Maybe no one's gonna fucking notice. But he would come out.
I love the big fat wrestler.
So he would come out to the Hank Williams version of Midnight Rider. I don't think there's a bad cover version of that song. There's a bunch. There's a bunch. And
kind of hard to.
Theory of a Dead Man put out a good one though. A good version of that.
It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to screw that song up. I feel like.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if it's played poorly, then
right. No. Don't get me wrong. You can definitely you can screw up any song.
I mean, I just want to hear the Allman Brothers do that. You're a big blues guy. It sounds like, right?
Big time.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on like? I think the guys who are carrying the torch for blues right now: Gary Clark, Miles Bridges. You digging that?
Amen. I mean, it's honestly been a little while since I've been able to get back in touch with my blues roots, but yeah, 100%. Everything I've been hearing has been phenomenal. I wish I could honestly get a little more back in touch with the harmonic. I've been trying to actually a little in this band a little more, but I gotta say, I've been, that's the word I'm looking for here, sacrilegious to my favorite, I guess, form of music. I've been becoming a lot more of a rocker and leaving more, becoming more of a vocalist and less of a harmonica player, and leaving the blues, I guess, as far as influence has been in. But I got to get back to it.
Where's the primary focus of the band these days? Is it more geared towards touring and getting out there and trying to make some money and building up a fan base, or is it towards writing and putting out records?
Well, that might be an argument, I guess, in the band. I mean, I'd say we kind of diversify as far as that's concerned, but um, there's a little of both. I think you kind of have to be both. This day and age, you're writing and you're gaining fan base at the same time. You can't really stay stagnant. It kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. There's no downtime. So if you're not gaining fan base, you're losing fan base. If you're not writing, then you're not going to be releasing new material in enough time to kind of generate more buzz and more new fan base. Um, I feel like, there's getting fan base with the new product and new fan base, and then there's holding on to that fan base, and that's really where more of that FaceTime comes in rather than the digital.
It seems like it's a very delicate line because you have to you have to get out there and play like a band like your level. Okay, like when you're a huge band, touring is fun. It's easy. I've done it, with some major artists. But how do you guys go around? Do you have a bus? Do you guys have a van? Are you setting up and breaking down yourselves?
We got like we should rent one of those Mercedes like what do you call it?
Like like those those little buses, those little
Yeah,
yeah,
like the
yeah,
minibus thing. It's
right.
nothing like crazy huge, but like, just enough for the band. That's usually what we go with. It depends on, I guess, what the thing is, what the package is, and what who it's with. If it's something like we're on a bus with somebody, then it's going to be a lot larger. But for the most part, yeah, that's kind of what we roll with. That's especially when it's like on our end. That's the bus.
Sean, we had the singer on, Max. What was the band? The name escapes me.
40 Below Summer.
40 Below Summer. And he gave us a real great education on what it's like, to tour when you're, kind of like a middling band. And the budget doesn't go quite as far as people think it's going to go, even though to the regular person it seems like it's a lot of money. But when you have to split it 5 ways and you have to pay for gas and or rent a van, or all of a sudden that money doesn't go as the way people think. um how do you guys like kind of like have to deal with that?
Um, same way I guess anybody else does. We got to make money. I mean, I'm just kind of being honest. I guess we get some help sometimes, I guess, from, I guess, areas that's definitely areas I'm not going to be talking about. But we do have, I mean, obviously we're signed and whatnot, but uh, most, the time we budget. I mean, we got to be smart about it. You got to be businessmen. This day and age,
That's it.
musicians kind of, yeah, no, 100%. This day and age, there's, and not even this day and age, I guess, ever since the fall of Napster, there's no label coming out to whisk you away and make this magical dream come for you as a musician. They're gonna, be that Mozart with your crew around you. You can be as nuts as you want. We're gonna protect. No, you gotta hold it down these days. You got to be a businessman and the artist. You can't. I don't know. One of the best examples I've ever seen, and I'm not a fan of their music really. Not saying they're bad. I just not my taste. Is Dashboard
Mm-hmm.
and Dashboard Anthem. They went to Walmart and just basically made them their own label. Like, they're like, we're just gonna, if you let us sell exclusively with you, you know, we'll put our CD, and you just put it up, and and it worked. It was fantastic, and they absolutely killed it. And it's business ideas like that bands need to start doing, because the labels don't have that money like they used to. They're waiting for you to put the product out.
Well, the whole music business is completely different than it used to be. I mean, in the old way, it used to be you made your money on the points from the record, and the touring was just to support the record, so you could sell. Now, sometimes you're giving away the music to make your money on the touring and the merch.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much it's. I mean, I guess since the dawn of like major time it's always been the merch. You know what I mean? Like, even when you're, if you're a major band, you're going to, the 26 major venues of the country or whatever. I guess they're far more now. I'm kind of dating myself what I'm talking about here, but essentially the rule hasn't changed where you rent the venue. So if you don't make your nut, you're screwed. So essentially, it's all about the merch. Like your merch, this. And then if you're a band that's not the headliner, because that band is, on the hook for a lot of stuff for the venue and whatnot, then you're getting a cut of your merch. So now your merch goes up, and it's a whole snowball effect. It's a lot of money. Like you were like kind of where we're going from before. It all takes a lot of money. The music industry is an insane amount of money to keep lubricated.
You guys, if you guys wanted to go out and headline yourself, I mean, I could see you guys playing the place where I met you at, that Debonair, what is it called? Debonair Ballroom?
Debonair Hall, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The old Mexicali blues.
So you get out there, and you guys are the headliner. I guess maybe one of the things you may do is grab a couple of like local bands. Have you ever come across a pay for play type of situation?
I mean, sure. It depends what you're talking about, I guess.
You have a band. They have no name recognition, but they'll have family and friends that'll want to come see them play because they're not getting really booked. So they're like, hey, listen, Ten Ton Mojo, we'd love to open for you. You give them, say, 50 tickets. They have to sell it. What they're basically doing is buying the tickets off of you, and then they have to go and move those tickets if they want to play.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It's a very common practice in some of these smaller halls.
Yeah. Well, no, that's a buy-on. That's essentially, and don't get me wrong, it's not just common. That is everybody. If you're not the headliner and you're on a tour with a band, every single band, I don't care what they told you, they bought on to that tour. That's just how it works. I mean, don't get me wrong, if you've got a strong label, they can put you on there. But like I was saying earlier, there's not too many strong labels that have that kind of money anymore. It's like, for instance, like something like the Black Crowes, it's going to cost you like, I think like 50 grand right now to be on tour with them, something like that.
How many shows does that get you?
Can't remember. And don't get me wrong, this is a while ago that I heard that. I think it was like half the tour. Like, like you're talking like
15-20 days probably.
Right. Yeah, like week and a half. 3 weeks would have been the full thing, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, and all that does is give you the opportunity to play. It's not your travel, it's not your hotel or anything like that.
Well, each one is different. Each buy-in will be different. But very often, most of it is on you. It depends. It really depends. Like, for instance, Europe, a lot of hospitality is already covered for you. And it's just kind of a European custom. They just kind of get your hotels and like.
Have you guys been out in Europe and played?
Oh, I wish. No, I mean, not with this band. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I know Scott has done. I did a little. I'm not sure who else in the band did, but no, it's not. But we're hoping to be doing it soon.
Like when you guys, it's a different vibe when you're playing out of your comfort zone. Like Jeff, you've performed in like Canada or whatever, right?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I've Toronto.
Yeah, so you performed in a different country. It's a very, very different vibe.
Well, when you get out of New York City,
Yeah.
Okay, and it's convenient. Listen, I could do New York City 5 nights a week if I want. Okay, but once you get out of New York City, it's everything is different.
Yeah.
I mean,
You go a freaking mile and a half over the Delaware Water Gap, and it's a whole goddamn different world.
oh sure. Listen,
Yeah.
there'll be times I'm going out to Canada. I'm going into like right by Penn State. I mean, right by Penn State. College Station. I mean, you
No,
might as well,
State College, Pennsylvania. Great.
yeah, yeah. You might as well be in West Virginia. You might as well be in Iowa. I mean, it is completely different. It doesn't feel like it's the same state that Philadelphia is.
Yeah. Oh no, PA is like a vast state. That's like going from like,
There's extremes.
yeah, going just doing anything from like Philly to Pittsburgh or something like that. You know what I mean, or anywhere. It's even just on the east side. I mean, I like a lot of rural PA that's on the eastern end, and it's nothing like the city areas.
Well, you know what it is? The further away you get from a major metropolitan city, the more, and I don't want to say simple, I want to say it's more down home. You know what I mean? Like just all about having a good time, hanging out,
Yeah.
putting on good fucking music. The best radio I ever listened to in my entire life was in Buffalo, New York. They would get
I was just gonna say that when you look at where we live, okay, Brooklyn, Staten Island, you cannot believe that's the same state as Buffalo. And what
right.
and what
Yeah.
from the weather to the way they vote to like the music that's on the radio.
So I love it up there because they listen to this kind of, this awesome rock, but they're also getting all the stuff from Toronto too. And in that part of Canada has an amazing rock, a rock following up there as well. I found so many amazing bands just from the time driving around in Buffalo. And this is before Shazam, where you're putting your fucking phone up and catching everything. You have to pull over and stop and write this shit down. I'm dating myself so fucking bad right now. But the great rock. Like there's a band Default, Big Wreck. They're amazing bands from Canada that got no love in the United States, and I hate that.
I mean, no argument. It's playing I agree that playing anywhere outside of your element can be really nerve wracking. I think when your band's with you, it's a little easier. I feel like when I'm on a loner kind of deal, like I've done really where I was in Europe, I was on my own playing harmonica. And until you've developed some kind of camaraderie with somebody in the band, I guess you kind of feel like on your own, and even that makes it a little worse, I guess, in that respect. But it's I don't know. I kind of always like the hype of playing out and somewhere different. It's always been something I get a more charge. I like the feeling there's new
It's
people.
exciting.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, hey, these
Yeah.
people haven't experienced our music. Let's give them a show. Like my dad when I was a kid, man, going out and seeing this cop and didn't realize it was an undercover cop. It's like, give this guy a light show on 4th of July. I'd be like, now what are you doing? But
How
that's me.
long is this? How long has this inception of the band been together?
Um, this inception, let's see. Kenny joined not the
Kenny's your
beginning of
bass player.
yeah. He joined the beginning of last year.
Is that the guy in the Carmelita video? No, that's not right.
No. That's he was in the band for quite some time. That was Chris. He was actually a long tenured bass player, I believe like 7 or 8 years. And then Christian came in the band just before I did, and I joined in 2019. Yeah.
So you're the newest member of the band.
No, Kenny would be. Kenny just
Oh, Kenny,
joined.
that's right.
Like,
Kenny's the
yeah,
bass player.
yeah.
Okay, so you make him carry all the equipment and everything.
Right. I'm the
Okay.
singer. I never carried anything.
No. You're the face of the group. You're talking to the women and everything. Who's the guy in the band who has the business acumen?
I'm sorry, the business.
The business acumen, the business awareness. Who handles do you have a manager that does that, or do you guys take care of it yourself?
I mean, we do kind of have a manager as well. This guy Kyle Brower is fantastic, and he's not really a manager, but he's just kind of like our corraller, I guess. He just keeps us in, I don't know. he would be like your old school type of manager, though. You know what I mean? Like your 60s, 70s style manager, I guess, in that respect. But he does so much more. He's also our digital guy and whatnot. But we all, I guess, kind of contribute. It's actually kind of a great band in that respect, how we all kind of fit a niche. Um, there's I guess, from things like Christian's dad is an entertainment lawyer, and Christian's very good with like things on that law, and he'll speak kind of on the label end. Um, I
What about
guess
Scott?
uh, Scott comes with, I guess, the most clout as far as any of the other musicians in the band. So he comes with some heavy connections as far as the business end. He's our connection to our financier as well. He's
No, why does he have the most clout? Is he the most accomplished?
well, yeah, I guess that's what I meant. I don't know. Clout maybe not have been the best word, but as far as he was in Blitzspear prior, I guess when he was younger, and did a lot of touring, European, American, and
So he's
and
like
whatnot.
he's the veteran.
He is. He's a seasoned vet. I mean, not that Paulie's not, but it's, I guess, as far as being around the block in that respect. So there's some major connections there. And I guess, speaking of Paulie and myself, we're kind of more on that like fan base level, keeping things on that level, everything going, and making sure we're very often at the merch table, which is also a great way to prevent us from drinking, because I'm recently on the on the wagon, I guess. But
That's good.
yeah, it keeps you busy, But it's it's also a great way to keep track of the business, and that's things coming in, and we're making sure people are hanging out, having a good time by the merch table, and like feeling comfortable. Hey, feel free to buy something.
When you guys go out, okay, when you're touring, how long are you out for?
I guess since I've joined the band, we haven't had anything real heavy major yet. We just got like a recent management company. It's been hard finding actually a booking agent. I gotta say, there's like a lot of real shortage of booking agents right now, which has been like really frustrating. But we got a nice management company with Distilled Entertainment and Booking, and they've been offering us some packages, some tours. We need to find something that fits us, which is we're working that out. I've been throwing a lot of stuff at us, so we got to go through everything, and I think we'll find something eventually. I don't know if it's going to be this year. We have our own little thing set up for Florida this year, which is going to be, we set up our own thing. It's usually roughly like 5-6 days, something like that, like a week. Because as we were discussing earlier, again, that money comes into play, and it's it's a lot of stuff to invest in going like on a heavy tour. If we're gonna buy onto a package, which hopefully is going to happen next year, which we're planning, or well, obviously, I just don't want to say definitely, what I mean, because shit could happen in this industry. It always does sometimes. So probably we'll be doing some type of tour, like a week and a half to 3 weeks, something like that.
Pick two bands that are big right now. Who do you want to open for?
Oh God, we're talking definitely right now. I mean, we've been trying to find something with Rival Sons. I don't know if I'm gonna get in trouble for saying that, but like, don't say that. I don't understand why that's a bad thing. But yeah,
The bad
Rival
thing.
Sons.
You put it out into the universe. You put that shit out into the universe, and the
What I'm
universe
saying.
hear it, and then you got to
Yeah,
fucking get it.
that's exactly right.
That's what I'm saying. So
Because you
Rival
never
Sons, if
know.
you're listening, just take us, please. Like,
They could be listening to this.
discount.
They could be listening to the show, and they could say, maybe Mojo, Ten Ton Mojo would love to open for us, but we don't know because they didn't say anything. Let
You
me know.
interrupted him.
Right?
You interrupted him for that
Right.
fucking dumb comment.
Well, listen, because I want to add something to him. Okay, I want see this way he comes on the show so we can help. Let me know when you're in Florida, particularly when you're in the Jacksonville area. I could send a bunch of people your way.
We don't have one defined yet in Jacksonville, but I'm told there will be one maybe Sunday. We're gonna be it's gonna be November, or Saturday. Yeah, Sunday. I think maybe Thursday or Sunday.
When you know for sure, you have my number. You just hit me up, say give me the information where you're going to be, and I'll put it out there. I have a bunch of people out there, like college kid, a little bit older, like the demographic that you want that will come out and support.
Awesome. Yeah, right now we got the 17th and the 18th Cocoa Beach is the 17th.
Oh, sure,
The
yeah.
opening for the Iron Maidens, not Iron Maiden, Iron Maidens.
Yeah, yeah.
Which
It's the girl band. Yeah, they're
yes,
great.
yeah, yeah, there you go. All right,
Yeah,
cool.
they're
Because
really
I said
good.
this to like my family, and my brother went absolutely ape because he's like a huge, and I'm a big Maiden fan also, but I'm like, no, no, no. I'm like, and like, I waited for like, because there's a group text with my family. I waited for like all the, everything to go through. I'm just like, no,
Do you do
Maiden.
originals when you open for them? Are you gonna do originals or do you have to do some covers as well?
No, we do originals. We rarely we try to throw like one cover in a set if depending on how long we have for the set. But if it's a short set, we generally don't throw any covers in.
What kind of covers would you wind up doing?
It's usually like recently we've been rolling with Snorting Whiskey and Drinking Cocaine by Pat Travers.
Mm-hmm. Great stuff.
And yeah, no, I love doing that one. That's a lot of fun. And Ain't No Love in the Heart of the City is actually we've been doing that really recently.
I can see you
We've
guys
done
doing some Bad Company.
we've never done Bad Company, but I would love to do that. I've been told I have a similar voice to Rogers, so
That's got to be the best compliment in the world.
oh, it's like, you kidding? How could you be unhappy with that? Like
Yeah, I could see you sitting out there belting out Shooting Star.
I could do that.
Definitely, you got that range. So tell us a little bit, before we have to wrap this up. Tell us a little bit about the record release party in was it June or July?
It is going to be in July. So
July
record release
16th?
party. Sorry.
16th?
No, 15th. 15th Saturday, I believe, or is it Friday? Oh
Saturday.
man, I should really know that.
Saturday.
But it's so far off. You can look it up in a calendar now.
No, but we want to be able to promote it. I mean, is this open to the public? Could people come out and support?
Yeah. Oh no, no, no. This is so June 30th would be when it's being released, like to the public as far as the music. You know what I mean? So streaming it on all various platforms. As far as I know, everywhere music is streamed, but I mean, I'm sure there's some like tiny little things that it's not, but all the major platforms it's going to be on. It's being distributed by Red Orchard. So that's June 30th, and then July 15th, we're going to have a live, like physical release. So we're going to have cassettes, vinyl, CDs, and that's all going to be at Gramercy Theater.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to the damn show. I don't have a show that night.
When is it? The
July 15th at the Gramercy Theater.
I know. What day of the week is it?
Saturday.
So Saturday, July 15th, opening for Annika, 10 Ton Mojo, EP release of Rebel Heart Gypsy Soul. Tickets are $20 from the band until we sell out of them, so make sure you get them quick.
Yeah, guys, support this band. I mean, fuck that weekend. I am in that night. I'm at the Scranton Comedy Club in Scranton, Pennsylvania.
We got to support you too.
You come support me. I don't need support. No one likes me anyway. Not even Sean.
We like you, Jeff.
Thank you, Dave. That's all I want to hear. All right, listen, guys. Go check out 10 Ton Mojo. Go to their website. Get the new record. Was June 30th?
Yeah, the record's coming out June
30th on all
streaming.
Okay, go to the website. They have some cool merch. The shirts, it says 10 Ton Mojo on it. It's a cool design that you have on there. Check out these songs. I'm telling you, folks. I mean, we haven't stayed you wrong with when we broke new music, and I mean, you're gonna love Carmelita. You're gonna love the other song I really got, Bad Love. I mean, that to me, that's the new one that I just found out from you guys, and I love it. So this is really good stuff. This is better than Corey Feldman music. Okay, so I'm just saying. You ever hear Corey Feldman music?
Yeah, that's.
I love Corey Feldman, but you guys are good, man. You guys are a really good band, and you're a really good dude, man. I wish you nothing but the best.
Well, thank you very much, Jeff and Sean. It was a pleasure.
Yes,
love being on the show, and really was a lot of fun.
Yeah, man.
I'll be getting up early tomorrow morning, Jeffrey, to get in my car to drive 189 miles to go see Ugly Kid Joe tomorrow night.
You and this Ugly Kid Joe concert.
I can't
You're obsessed.
wait. I can't wait. It's going to be the best night ever. They're selling vinyl, they're selling butt plugs, they're selling everything at this fucking concert. I swear to Christ, I'm buying all their merch because I'm supporting local bands.
And that's what you should do, and that's what people should do. Support local bands, support smaller shows. Fuck going to see Taylor Swift and spending $2,100 on a ticket. You know, for 25, $30, you catch a band like Ten Ton Mojo and a couple of other bands on the bill, and you'll have yourself a better time. Believe me, I tell you, that show that I went to see Mike Tramp, I had no expectations for that.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't.
And I thought that was really good.
I'm glad we wowed you. And yeah,
Yep.
bands are small businesses. Just small bands are small businesses. That's what I really should have said. Because big bands are kind of like big businesses too.
They're corporations at that point.
That's right.
I mean,
man.
they are.
Don't
I want
feed
to
the
be one of those
machine.
corporate.
Dude, there was a documentary, and we're going to end with this. There's a documentary on Bon Jovi when their album came out, and he goes, "I'm not the lead singer of a band anymore. I'm the CEO of a multi-million-dollar corporation."
I mean, it's true, and it's almost sad when that happens. I mean, I almost don't want that to happen. I'd like to just keep it just under the radar. You know, that'd be great.
Yeah,
Just
no.
like,
why would you want 400 fucking
Yeah, you don't want
I'll take all
money
that.
and
I'll take all that.
success. No, you don't need that. You know, listen, if you get it, just throw it all away. Sean, why don't we end with this?
Yeah.
Ask Dave
my question.
Your big famous question.
Your ultimate band. You can be in the band, right? You're singing for the band. Who are your backing musicians? Who's your guitar player? Who's your drummer? Who's your bass player? Does not have to be your band.
It shouldn't be
you pick your mega band.
They have to be alive.
No, not at all.
Oh, fantastic. That just opens up a whole world. That makes it a lot harder, I guess. But I definitely want Dwayne Allman. He's my favorite slide guitar player of all time by far. I love him.
Right.
And I guess for rapport, I'd throw Slow Hand in there because you know they were in the Dominoes and they really work well together. So that would be you kind of want to have some good mix in there. As far as bass player, I mean I love me some JPJ, but I'm gonna have to go Entwistle. I gotta go Entwistle. I just find he's got more of like a jammy soul to me. I feel like he can go off kind of, and I like to jam sometimes. As far as drummer, I think I want to go Mitch Mitchell.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I really like Mitch Mitchell. He's he's dynamic. I mean, I think he's really underrated too. I
did not expect that in the least, but
well, it's either that or John Bonham. I mean, John Bonham would definitely be he's just when I need to hit it hard. But Mitch can hit it hard too, man. So I mean, I got to go Mitch because his dynamics are fantastic, and I feel like that's rare to find in a drummer than someone you can always hit hard.
And what about some keys?
Little keys. I gotta say, I have a love-hate relationship with keys as far as my personal dealing with keyboard players that I have, and this
I did hear it on some of your records.
Nobody's ever been in the band though, like actually as a keyboard player, like you know what I mean. Like there's been like, but yes, we use it. Yeah, no, without a doubt. There's definitely keys in the background and whatnot. Now, if I had to pick favorite keyboard player, I don't know. That one I'm gonna have to pass on.
that's fine.
The band is Ten Ton Mojo.
Yes,
our guest is Dave Anthony, and the record is coming out June 30th. And check them out, man. On
June 30th, physical release July 15th, opening for Annika.
Nice.
That should be a great show. Dave, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Good time.
Jeff, Sean, thank you guys. Rock and roll. 10 Ton Mojo.
Man. We'll see you soon.